Hello, my name is Marcus Cake. The purpose of this video is to provide a brief introduction to Wisdom Networks and the Network Society. Wisdom Networks crowd-create network society, productivity, growth, and the next stage of economic development. Wisdom Networks expands on the information society that only puts two elements of wisdom in the cloud. By putting all 6 elements of wisdom into the cloud, society would achieve greater levels of transparency, meritocracy, accessibility, and seamless integration across organizations, industries, societies, and countries. The Wisdom Network restructures how people interact within communities. Community effort previously devoted to process and organization can be redeployed to outcomes. The Network Society, or next stage of economic development, offers greater productivity, output, growth, and returns society to creating wealth. The Network Society is simply putting all 6 elements of wisdom into the cloud and empowering people with person-to-person collaboration, knowledge, and wisdom. The Shell Oil Company's forecast of the future defines 2 alternative scenarios for the global community. Their first scenario, which they call mountains, is the world with status quo power locked in and held tightly by the currently influential. Power and prosperity is centralised, and at the end of the information age, society is stagnating and has been reduced to wealth transfers. We could be trapped in this stage for at least another 16 years. The second scenario, which Shell calls oceans, describes a more prosperous and volatile world. Power is more widely distributed, influence stretches far and wide in the world of oceans, power is devolved, competing interests are accommodated, and compromise is king. Economic productivity surges on a huge wave of reform. The result is a network society that uses a distributed structure and decentralizes prosperity and power. We could implement this future in 2 to 5 years with as few as 30 networks globally, launched within 6 months. Network society could be crowd-created by any one of 3 groups: people, government, or corporations. All or part of the network society could be run by the people as an open-source software project, by the government as a public utility, or by corporations as a profit-making enterprise. Let's look at the shift in outcomes. The information age is exhausted. Further investment in the status quo won't create wealth. We can see this exhaustion in declining or negative productivity worldwide and declining standards of living. The information age is highly complex and is often consumed by process at the expense of outcomes. The information society is on a path to decline. We can see this in debt being used to maintain living standards and greater conflict amongst communities. Evolution has been crowd-creating the next stage of economic development for decades. The community has crowd-created data or connectivity. We call this the Internet. Over the last 15 years, the community's crowd-created information. We call this the World Wide Web. Over the last 7 to 10 years, the community has also created online networks in social communities. In the next 5 years, the community will crowd-create wisdom by simply moving collaboration and knowledge and linking things in the Internet of Everything in the cloud. The result is a distributed and much simpler network society. It offers greater productivity, greater output, higher standards of living, and a return to prosperity and wealth creation. We are witnessing a shift from closed structures and processes available to a few to open structures accessible to everyone that achieve much more with much less. We are witnessing a shift from the closed and proprietary structures and technologies of the information age to their more open counterparts. The information age used hundreds of thousands of different technologies, processes and structures at every level of society. The network society uses a fraction of the technologies, structures and processes and is able to span individuals, organizations, industries, countries and regions with a few over-the-top wisdom networks. A wisdom network brings virtual wisdom to every physical or real thing in the real world. This means that each thing in the real world does not need to be intelligent in themselves. The network provides the intelligence. This means that a handful of wisdom networks can organize a network society within the Internet of Everything. At the end of the information age, society is awash with information. We can't necessarily reach it, given that it's often locked away in hierarchies, but a wisdom network can span every structure in a society and simply link through the internet to the source thing. We can then use that inside the wisdom network. We can mobilize people around it. We can tag what each thing is, link it with other things to reveal knowledge, organize collaboration, share knowledge very quickly in wisdom books, and focus the wisdom of the crowd on outcomes. A network society organizes things into books which are shared with everyone in real time across every community. Every physical thing in society has a virtual wisdom book to organize collective wisdom. This could be called Telewisdom. The people are network society ready. Social networks have trained people to interact by linking things into books that they share. Wisdom networks do the same thing for other communities. People can also use their existing social network login and profile across any network within a network society. Global or regional trade in wisdom, virtual workers, services, things and capital brings prosperity to the global community. Any particular thing could be shared across the world. For example, one person or group could provide the English textbook for all 7-year-olds worldwide. Country wisdom networks could organise global virtual communities. Singapore, Hong Kong, UK or Isle of Man could provide equity market wisdom globally. Malaysia or Thailand could provide health wisdom. India could provide education wisdom. It may only take 30 networks and 2 to 5 years to achieve network society. Who will build them? And this is what the network society web application looks like. I've put it all onto one page so that you can see every community or access to every community. The communities are listed across the top, so we have individual, health, education, organisation, equity market or innovation systems, governance for board meetings, shareholder meetings or preparation of statutory documents, government reduced to a wisdom network, national outcomes, national wisdom, resource management, regional integration and global wisdom. People are at the heart of a network society. Every community in a network society is composed of wisdom books. Wisdom books are the means for each person to share knowledge, collaborate and focus wisdom on outcomes. Any individual is free to create, participate or contribute to any book in any community in a network society. This is what health wisdom looks like as part of the network society. We can see that it begins with accumulating all of the information in health, brings in the community, organises collaboration, discussions, messaging, events, tasks, project plans, meetings, and it accumulates those into knowledge for different participants in the community, and the entire community is focused on outcomes. The purpose of this diagram is to show how things interact with the patient's patient book. Things could be added to the patient book by a device, by a radiologist, by a GP. A carer or the patient can accept those things into the book. For example, a radiologist could take an image of the patient, add it to the person's patient book, which could be delivered by email. The image could be shared with the GP in real time, automatically appear in the doctor's book as a new thing that has appeared. Tasks could be set for the doctor to review. The addition of the X-ray could prompt the doctor to amend a patient plan. It may prompt the doctor to write a prescription. Or the doctor could schedule a new appointment or task or other course of action in real time. The result is that a person's patient care ecosystem has real-time knowledge, can take immediate action. A wisdom network could be deployed in as little as 90 days for specific communities like health, education, or equity market. A larger multi-community network society might take 180 days. It's simply a function of the number of things and books that need to be created. Wisdom networks can be launched to all communities at the same time, which would provide the foundation for a network society, or specific communities can be launched one at a time in the order of most benefit. Those communities that are based on personal interaction are likely to derive the greatest benefit from wisdom networks. A wisdom network would restructure human time and attention between doctor, patient, nurse and other caregivers and reclaim a lot of time lost to hierarchies and process. It's also likely to significantly improve patient outcomes because real-time knowledge and wisdom is applied and available at the point of interaction. Wisdom networks could also be used to fuel the growth of SMEs to drive economic growth. A wisdom network may improve capital access, the access to specialist advisors, and expose SMEs to international markets. If you'd like further information, please visit the wisdomnetworks.im website or contact me, Marcus Cake. My contact details are on the top right-hand side of this slide.